Well, we're off to a great fucking start. That was supposed to have music. Where the fuck was that countdown music? God damn it. Anyway.
I was about to be like 10, 9.
Yeah, so do we have to do that? Why does that do that?
And then at 1, just be like, Happy New Year.
Why is he not playing the music? Oh, anyway. Whatever. We don't know. I'll just edit it in. Anyway. Hey! It's Late Night Syrup Live. Produced by Waffle Box. I am Mike Fish, and I am joined by tonight's guest. Podcaster, stand-up comedian. Yeah, you do it. Whatever,
Yeah,
it's true.
yeah.
It's Katy Gonzalez from What the Psychology Podcast. How you doing, Katy?
I'm good. How are you?
Wonderful. Now, but between me and you, I'm worried now. My commercial's not going to play properly now. It's like all going wrong. Whatever. You got to roll with the punches.
We'll figure it out.
How are you?
I'm good. It's been a last stressful couple of weeks, but overall, doing pretty good.
What's been is it something you want to talk about?
Oh, it's just school. I'm doing school, lots of volunteer work, and of course the podcast. So it can be overwhelming.
What are you studying? What are you studying for?
Behavioral health. Yeah.
Right, for those who are listening to this who have no fucking idea what that is,
Good luck.
like me, what is behavioral health?
It is, well, it's a degree plan, and it's very similar to psychology, but you can take other classes as well that go towards your major, such as like gerontology, public health, sociology, social work. So it's more of a variety versus just psychology focused. So, pretty cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
So what's the end game there?
So I actually graduate in May, so in a few months. And then I just applied a few days ago for a master's program in clinical mental health counseling. So the end goal is to get my master's, get licensed, and be a counselor. So, yeah, very psychology focused.
Look you getting your life together.
Just a little bit.
So is that the whole? So how long again has that I guess been in the works? Has this been kind of something you've always wanted to do? You've always been fascinated in? Because obviously we're going to lead into the podcast, which I'm assuming is leaning. So where did this kind of whole dream begin? Where did this fascination begin?
You're gonna be surprised.
Was it like a Tom Hanks movie or something?
No.
I
No,
saw Big, and I was like, you know what? I want to get into psychological things.
Hey, that could be part of it. I've always been fascinated with true crime and things like that, but what actually hit me was probably a year and a half ago when I was trying to decide what my major was going to be. That's when I decided I wanted to pursue psychology. I have my own mental health struggles too, so that was also a big influencer. But first I was going to go like general admin, and then I took a psychology class and I fell in love. So it just reaffirmed like this is what I want to do. So yeah.
Fun fact, I had a friend back in England who was doing like psychology stuff.
Yeah.
And so I said to them, I was like, wow, you're going to be like in psychology and stuff. So does that mean that I can tell you a little bit about myself, and then you can kind of dive deeper into like my psyche and tell me more about myself? And her response was, no, it's psychology. I'm not psychic. And I was like, no, that's not what I meant. I think you misunderstood what I was saying there. But bless her. She's doing well. She's doing well for herself.
You kind of can, but it depends. It really depends.
She was the smartest dumb person I knew. Or was it the dumbest smart person? I don't know. One of those. Anyway, so and then that brings us forward to the podcast. Okay, how do you pronounce your podcast? Because whenever I've been promoting this show, I've always just found myself going, so yeah, I'm going to be talking to Katie from the What the psychology
I love
podcast.
it. I love it. It's a play on words in a sense, because of course you know the explicit, but
What
yeah,
the fiddlesticks?
yep, that, yeah, what the mother trucker.
What the fudgesticles?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, so I actually got into podcasts because my friends, they knew I was into true crime stuff, so they recommended a few for me to actually listen to. And so I was like, oh, this is really cool. And what I noticed a lot is sometimes they would say, oh, this person had this mental disorder, or they would talk about like the childhood or something. And but they never really dived too much into it. And I was like, oh, well, that could be caused by this, or that could be based on this theory, or and then I was like, you know what? Maybe I should start my own podcast and dive deeper into that subject matter. And then other people could gain more understanding when they listen to other podcasts, or even just some of it's not even more of the true crime stuff. It's just about life, stress. You're a salesman, so you might hate me, but I recently did episodes about compliance and manipulation, and I didn't
Oh,
really rag on salesmen, but there's a lot of psychology techniques that they use, and so it's kind of like
100%.
it's kind of like they use this, so just beware. But us as humans naturally use some of them too without even realizing it. So yeah, that's kind of what got me started, and it helps with my studies a lot too, because then I'm like, when we'll be learning something in class, I'm like, oh, I did an episode about this, and I already know a little bit, so it helps with my studies as well. So
Because isn't it supposed to be, well, there's something you're kind of getting into true crime stories as well, because I know you've done a couple of episodes on like major crime stories, but recently, I guess in the last couple of episodes around like the holidays and New Year, you've kind of been leaning, I guess, a little bit more into the whole human psyche, but it's also like, I guess I like it that in terms it starts off almost like a Dear Diary, and then you kind of take that and meld it into the subject of the podcast, if that makes it's if I'm
yeah,
summarizing it right. So is that something that you've enjoyed, that little mini I know it's not a huge transition, it's only a couple of episodes, but is that something where you see it taking it more, or do you see yourself balancing between that and bringing up some true crime stuff as well?
I think it's definitely going to be a balance, because when I first started, I was like, oh, this is going to be solely true crime. But then I saw the benefit of just talking to other friends that have dealt with trauma, or some of my military friends that have PTSD, or people that have friends or family that deal with different things. And I'm like, oh, this could be really beneficial, where I talk about those things as well. And it's also about trying to crush the stigma of mental health as well. Like, why don't we dive in and talk about these things and educate people as well? And so that's been a big goal as well. So I think I'm still going to do both, because I think we're all interested in the dark, like dark ominous things as well, naturally as humans, some more than others, but it's also healthy though, too. So yeah, I guess that's probably my answer for that.
Do you see it as so? What was your? I mean, I know you went into podcasting because you got almost like inspired by others, but you saw like, okay, I can take that and I can do my own spin on it. But do you, talking about like mental health and things like that, do you almost see the podcast as some kind of almost like a self therapy session, like as if like you can kind of get that out there and
Hello, it's me calling.
yeah,
No,
sorry, I just had to damn my Apple Watch. Anyway, carry on. There's a free plug, Apple.
right? They're
Where's
Apple.
my
Go get your Apple.
go get your Apple stuff? But
Manipulation.
you have to buy your charger adapter separate, fuckers.
20 bucks.
Anyway, 20 bucks.
In a sense, yes, because I do share a lot of information about myself as well, especially when I talked about anxiety and depression. I talked about how I deal with those things as well. I've also recently did a episode about goals, and I talked about some of my own personal goals and how I'm handling those things. So, in a sense, it is self therapy because I relay that information out too, but it's also to be relatable. And I want people to know, like, I'm a genuine person doing this, and I deal with my own struggles too. So I'm not just someone talking about psychology and things that I'm studying. It's also very personal to me as well. So, in a sense, yeah, it's definitely self therapy. It's a hobby. So, yeah.
I think we should get more of these on though, because at the end of the day, no matter where you think you are, this is just my opinion. Whether you think you're doing well, if you think bad, I think you should just be able to talk about everything. Because I remember, I don't know if you're familiar with a man named Stephen Fry. He's an English
Mm,
gentleman. Anyway,
maybe.
doesn't matter. Look him up on YouTube. He's fantastic. He started as a comedian, and he's kind of a thing. Anyway, he just basically talked about mental health on one of his special type things, and he's like very strange in that, like, if someone was to say, "Oh, I have asthma," everyone would be like, "Oh, okay, it's cool, yeah." But if you say, "Oh, I have mental health problems," they're like, "Oh
Like, whoa.
shit, oh, change the subject." Ah!
Like,
It's like
oh,
it should be just like, "Oh shit, you have mental health. Oh, what are you doing for that? Just talk about it. Just talk about it,
right.
man. It's all good. It's all good." Where do you see it go? Where's the evolution of your? Before I'm gonna dive into you.
Oh,
I'll learn about you in a minute.
sure.
But where do you see it going evolutionarily wise? The podcast. Do you want to take it? Just gonna keep trucking along. Where do you want to go into other platforms like maybe? I know before we went live, we were talking about like taking it into video and things like that. Where do you kind of see yourself? It sounds like a job interview or something. Where do you see yourself in 3 years, Katie?
Dead in a ditch. No. That's very
Fucking hell, it took a left turn.
that's very ominous. Just kidding. Well, I do have a few things in the works that I'm kind of working out now because one thing that's really inspired me is there's a story on Twitter, and it's been on the news too, but there's this dad who his son went missing in Arizona. You might have seen me like retweet a lot of his stuff, but this dad literally went from like drove all the way from one of the Carolinas to Phoenix, and he has been conducting searches like every weekend on his son, and like the police have not been very helpful. Well, recently they have been, but at the beginning they weren't. And there's a lot of suspicion behind this case and how his son went missing. And so I really want to bring attention to those type of things too. So I don't know if it's going to make a slight direction. I think I'm still going to do all the other stuff, but I think it's also important to get cases like that out there in the open to bring awareness of this person is missing, and like there hasn't been a lot of attention. I know where I'm from, we had an autistic boy like last year go missing. Literally walked from school and was last seen at a gas station and has been missing ever since. So it's like there's cases that we don't hear about worldwide or even national level. It's just, oh, this person went missing, and the only people that are really putting in the work to get the word out is their parents, their loved ones, and maybe people that are on podcast platforms, because I know I've listened to other podcasts and they do that a lot too, and I feel like we need to get those stories out there too. So, yeah, that, and I have a friend who her mother was murdered when she was like a baby, and so I'll probably bring her on in the future as well.
Wait, her
So
mum was
her
murdered
mom was
murdered when
murdered
she was
when,
a baby.
right, yeah,
So
and
the wait, so she was a baby,
yep,
not the mum.
right. That
So
would
she
be
wasn't
very
like, oh, when my mum was a baby, she was murdered. I was like, where the
right.
fuck did you come from? So
Yeah.
okay, she was a baby.
Oh wow.
Okay, got it.
She came
And
from
what
the
is it
lab.
like? Unsolved still?
They're going to trial in the summer. They do have
And
a
how long ago was
perpetrator.
that?
My friend's probably in her 30s, 40s.
Fucking hell.
Yeah. And she's also African American, and I know there's a disparity there. So it's like,
I believe there's some statistics to back that one up.
right, yeah. So it's, I want to get her story out, and I respectfully emailed her, hey, we were in the Air Force together, so we're really good friends. And I told her what I was doing. She's like, I would love to come on there and talk about it. And I was like, I really want to focus on your mom and what kind of person she was and get that story out there, because it's crazy how it's taken all these years. And I get that the legal system and prosecution, they have to have all their ducks in a row they only have one shot, right, to prosecute someone. So I understand that, but it's like, it's just crazy how it can take so long, and how in some cases there's evidence that's planted, or they are strictly targeting someone. And in other cases, it's not even that. It's just they get that tunnel vision on one person. And I think there's a statistic that 9%.
Nailed it.
I think it's 9% of. Let me see. No, I don't have the book with me.
Oh, I thought we had a post-it note with that stat on, just in case.
All right.
Just in case this needs to come up.
I think it's 9% of death row inmates are actually proven innocent. So it might be a higher.
That's a whole rabbit hole to go to, because in England we banished the whole death penalty because you don't want to kill someone and then like a year later go, right. Oh shit, that guy was innocent. Oops, our bad.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people have different opinions. I think, I know personally, I used to be so much pro death penalty because I'm like, how could these people commit these crimes? And now I'm more like on the fence of, it's like, I think it depends case by case. Like, is there really so much evidence where you can prove it? But then there's still you have judges who in the beginning, they have the chance of allowing evidence in or not allowing evidence in. It's like, some of it's valid, but sometimes it's like not valid at all. So it's kind of like, until the system is better, I don't really think it should be a thing. But it also depends. It's kind of case to case. At least in my opinion, that's where I go on that. But yeah, it's crazy.
Speaking of murder, I'm just going to bring in one of our live comments. We've got Ronnie coming in. So, hey, y'all, I'm listening while doing some work. So this is Ronnie, who does the Rambling Ronnie podcast.
Oh, I added them. I have them on my to listen.
Yeah, I'm going to be a guest on their show on Tuesday. It's going to be a new release. And she asked me, because but for ages she's wanted someone to talk to about the movie Sleepaway Camp.
Haven't seen that, but
me neither. So I was like, fuck yeah, sure, I'll do it. And I watched it, and goddamn, I never met Ronnie. I fucking hate her because that movie is a piece of shit. I wasted an hour and a half of my life, and when I'm gonna nuts on that show. So just check that out. Rambling Ronnie podcast on Tuesday. I'm talking about Sleepaway Camp. Fucking with the if you know, you know.
So I guess I need to ask Ronnie, is it really worth it?
Jesus Christ, look at that. So she knows what she did.
I think she just told you it was like the best movie ever just so she could waste your time.
I don't know what she said it was, to be honest, but I fell for it, and
that's great, Ronnie.
I don't want to get into
you.
Anyway. Alright, so I'm going to quickly segue in, because I'm a working man, gotta pay my bills. I'm going to try to play this commercial, play the ads. Fucking hell, I hope this works.
Audio works.
Alright, we'll see, ready? Alright, we'll be back after this commercial break, or right back if it fucks up.
Hey, you. Yes, you. Was you thinking of having that beer?
But my friend, it's only 10 a.m. Won't everyone judge you for drinking this early? Don't worry, we've got just the thing to help you. Your very own Waffle Box mug. And now, everyone will just think you're drinking coffee, so you can enjoy your morning beer judgment-free. Go to wafflemerch.com to get yours today. Yeah! Get that
I love
beer
the
mug.
robe. Where's your robe? Come on.
Oh, I gotta look good. I gotta look for the live stream, baby.
It's true.
Although
You look
that could, the branding could work. Late night syrup. I'm in a robe while doing it. Maybe.
Hey.
Maybe next time. Okay, so yeah, check that out. Wafflemerch.com. Get yourself a mug and have a shit as well available.
What's in that? Is it coffee?
It's Yingling.
It's syrup.
It's 10:21 p.m.
You got some late night syrup in there.
Yeah, it's still long. Yeah, just enjoy myself. I'm English. What do you expect?
I expect the tea, right? Tea instead of coffee.
I do drink tea. I'm very stereotypical for my sins. Let's talk about you. Okay, let's talk about you. How are you? Where are you from?
Ooh, originally?
Yeah, what are you gonna say? Like, oh, in my past life, I was in Russia.
From my mother's womb.
Oh, Jesus Christ! Let's not go that far back. So my dad, he got a little frisky one night, and anyway, so geographically, where do you say you're from?
I'm originally from Nashville, Tennessee.
Ooh, I love Nashville.
Yeah, Music City.
Boop,
Shout
boop.
out. Yeah, that's where I was born and raised. So
where'd you go from there?
So I now live in Omaha, Nebraska. So now I'm in the
That's not as good. I'll be honest. It's not as.
It's more livable.
Oh yeah, it's true. You know,
very true. Oh my god.
I live in, Manhattan's more exciting than Richville, New Jersey, but I get more bang for my buck, baby.
That's true.
Rather than paying the same amount of rent for a fucking broom closet. But anyway, that's another story for another time. So what made you go from Nashville, Music City, to Omaha, whatever city that is?
So I did not choose to be here.
What is Omaha known for?
Well, we got Warren Buffett. We got the Cornhuskers, which I don't care about.
You're just making things up now.
I'm going to get murdered tomorrow because I said I don't like the Huskers.
Omaha Steaks? Isn't that a thing?
Omaha Steaks. Yeah, Kool-Aid. We created Kool-Aid, apparently.
Oh, yeah!
Yeah. So, we're known for some stuff.
What a salesman you are!
I know. Lady Gaga.
Come to Omaha! We're known for some stuff.
Lady Gaga wrote a song. She dated some dude from Nebraska. And we're kind of mentioned in that song. So, yeah.
You sold me. You sold me. I'm moving tomorrow.
Yeah. How I got here. So, when I was 19, I joined the United States Air Force. Went to basic training. And funny story, when I was in tech school, which is like where you're learning how to do your job and stuff before you actually go to your first base, I got a notification that... Yeah, right?
First base.
It's not that fun, but...
Well, first base is not, because, second base is where it starts getting fun.
Right. Well, what if your first base is your only base, which is in my case?
Oh. Isn't that what, nuns are?
So, when I was in tech school, I got a notification that I got selected for my first base. And when I went to look, I was super excited because the base is called Offutt, Offutt, Offutt Air Force Base. And in my mind, I was thinking, oh, I'm going to Germany. Because it's German sounding. My poor instructor had to be like, I am so sorry, but you're actually going to Nebraska. And I'm like, what? Where's that? He's like, middle United States. And I'm like, what? Is that like middle cornfields? And so I came here. I did my 6 years in the Air Force. Well, I met my husband while I was here. We bought a house last year. We decided to stay at least for now. So it grew on me.
So you lowered your standards. Nice. That's
Pretty
nice.
much. just no. It's actually a great place to live. Good schools for later down the line when we decide to have kids. What else? Decent cost of living, so housing isn't too bad. So yeah.
I'm just shit. I'm just messing.
Hey, you have to. I do.
But
too.
you do have to do. You got. So whenever people like, especially for me, I'm a foreigner. I'm a damn immigrant. God damn it.
I'm marrying an immigrant.
Woo. What do you go? Oh, I want to go to America. Where do you want to go to America? I want to go to New York City. I want to go to Las Vegas. No one's got it. I want to go to Omaha.
Hey, well, Peyton Manning seemed to like us.
True. And Peyton Manning is a goddamn legend. He should be. If they add another face to that, what the fuck is that called? The Rock thing. The president's on. No, the president's chiseled into the fucking rock, and I'm blanking here.
MVP.
No,
I don't know.
Come on, no. Oh fuck's sake!
Come on, you do a sports podcast.
No, it's not sports. It's that cliff thing where the president's faces are chiseled into it. What's that called?
I don't. I would probably.
This is great content. Anyway, yes, he's a great man, and he is the only reason I watch Monday Night Football. Him and his brother Eli Manning.
And
Mount Rushmore. There we go. Jesus, I'm so annoyed at myself. It took me. Mount Rushmore. Yes, they should add.
Ronnie saves the day.
Either side, they should have Peyton Manning on one side and Eli Manning on the other.
And guess what? Peyton Manning is Tennessee alumni. He played for the Volunteers back before when he was in college. So.
Oh, good for him.
So he likes Tennessee and he likes Omaha. So I'm good.
I know I love Tennessee. I remember going to Nashville, and that was one of those that when I have vacation. I say vacation there. I went there for like a week, and I was like, I could see myself relocating down here. This is nice. I love Nashville.
It's just expensive now. Oof.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Damn pandemic! Damn it! I remember because I was originally was looking at relocating to Austin, Texas, and then pandemic hit and everyone's working from home, so everyone's like, oh, I can move now, and then the fucking house prices is like whoosh. So I was like, fuck that, I'm not going there anymore.
Yeah, and I have friends that still live in the area, and like they can't even afford to buy a house because like literally last year the prices were like maybe 200,000 and now they're like 400,000. So like some of my friends that are still back home are like, I can't even afford to live where I grew up. Like, and we live like on the outskirts. And we just say Nashville because everyone knows where the heck that is. But so. Oh my gosh. But we have a few hometown heroes, so that's kind of cool. Like people making it in the world, kind of getting famous-ish. So.
And a big wrestling town as well.
Yep. One guy that I went to school with, he's actually a professional boxer. So
I don't care about boxing. Boxing's shit. Professional wrestling, that's where it's at.
WWE, where it's all scripted.
How can you be from Nashville, Tennessee, and not appreciate professional wrestling? Who are you?
I just had to throw in that joke.
Jerry the King Lawler? Well, he's Memphis, but still. He's like a god to you people.
I had a lot of friends that did wrestling like in high school. In fact, my sister, I'm just going to say she's a badass because she was like the only female on the wrestling team. There were like a few females to start off with, but like they all quit and she just stayed, and she was just a badass. But
So she had to, whenever they went to like wrestling meets, she had to like face all the women on the other team.
I guess if they had them. But like she was the only girl on the whole wrestling team. So I don't know, I think she wrestled against dudes too, so
I wouldn't want to do that because that's a lose-lose situation. Like because don't get me wrong, the whole patriarchy and all that, we can get into that if you want, but obviously,
yeah.
If I'm a man and I wrestle a woman and I win, people look at me and are like, you piece of shit. How do you do that? But then if I lose, you fucking lost to a woman. Like, oh, jeez, no, fuck that.
My sister was decent, though. I think she did a season, but she also played soccer in high school. She was like captain, and she was really good at that too. But yeah, she was very athletic.
Let's be honest. Look at me. Betty White, before she passed away, she could have beat me up. Like, I'm not.
I have marshmallows. This is all.
Whenever I say, welcome to the gun show, I'd be like, yeah, check out these water pistols, baby.
Yeah. Mine are more like, I don't even know. They're like the police batons that don't do as much damage.
I don't know what that reference is, but I like it.
They're not even guns. They're just there.
These are non-lethal police batons, baby. Welcome to the show. All right.
Through the camera. I have to be what on this?
This is great audio content.
You have to let me win, remember?
Yeah. You always have to let the guests win.
Overthrow the patriarch.
Fucking patriarch.
Oh man.
Anyway, this has been great.
That was wonderful. 10 out of 10.
What else was we talking? All right, let's talk about psychological shit in movies. This because I know. So we were talking before we went live. You haven't seen Fight Club. God,
right?
Damn it! Have you seen the movie Seven? Possibly the greatest psychological movie ever.
I don't think so. What is it about? Because there's one psychological thriller that I remember watching, and I can't, for the life of me, can't remember what it's called. So, what is that movie about? And I might have seen it.
It stars Brad Pitt, Morgan Freeman, and a murderer who bases his serial murders on the 7 deadly sins.
Don't think I've seen that one. But there's one movie, I cannot for the life of me remember what it is, but it was like very cultish.
Legally Blonde.
Huh?
Legally Blonde?
No, it was not Legally Blonde. Although that is kind of...
It's kind of cultish if you think about it.
No, it was like a psychological... Oh, I can't remember. It's been bugging me. Anyway.
What's in the box? There we go, she gets it.
It's Mark in the box.
Okay, so this is where we're going now. So we're trying to have a serious conversation about psychological thrillers.
Ronnie
and
the question.
We've had a nice conversation for 34 minutes and now we're talking about dicks. Oh, here we go.
Blame Ronnie. It's all Ronnie's fault.
So, tell me about your favorite celebrity dick. Let's go.
Well, I can't really tell you that because I've never seen it.
Oh, you should Google it. Chris Evans, apparently he's got a fabulous one. He was very proud of it.
Oh my gosh. Anyways.
Anyway, what were we talking about? So favorite psychological thriller movies. Let's talk about it.
Ooh. I haven't seen any recently, but my favorite, it's the one that I cannot, like I said, for life remember, but it was like a cult setting where everyone was part of this bigger government or bigger organization. And then there was a part where there are people that were outside of it or they got out of it. And then they were trying to take someone to the hospital that was also outside of it and they needed help. and they're like, please don't tell anyone that we're here, because they were being hunted. And then as they were leaving, they're like, the organization's coming after you, and they're like, why did you tell them? I can't for the life of me remember what the film was called, but man, it was crazy.
Sounds great.
It was. I'll have to look it up and try to find what it's called. Other than that, like, I've seen a few of the Purge movies. I'm sure a lot of people have, and since it's kind of psychological if you think about it, but
Okay.
there's some concepts in there. But
have you seen the final Purge?
I haven't seen that one, but I've seen some of the earlier ones. I saw like the election year one, whatever, the presidential, and then one of the earlier ones. But
so in the final Purge, I'm not going to spoil it for you, but Jonestown documentary.
ooh, we'll talk about that in a second. I have seen that too, but oh yeah.
So in the final Purge, obviously the whole point of the Purge is for, like, what is it, 24 hours or whatever. It's now outlaw town. Pew, pew, pew. Do whatever you want. Go nuts. Break the law. Go.
Government officials.
But then there's this part in the final Purge where they kind of have, like, it was almost like this fairground where people can go in. It's like, oh, if you wanna stab people, you take them into this room. If you want to shoot them, you can take them into... Like, it's a whole kind of fair. But to get there, there's a price of admission. And people are spending the price. So I'm willing to break the law by murdering someone. But hey, if there's a price to get in, I'm not gonna break that fucking law. Like, that's the line you draw. You're able to murder a human being, but I will pay my bills. Fucking hell. Terrible movie.
Right? I'd rather go to jail for tax evasion versus, like, murdering someone.
Anyway. Jonestown. Let's talk about Jonestown. Let's go for it.
Let's talk about Jonestown. So, yeah, I did an episode. Well, I did a 2-part episode. 2 parts. 2 separate episodes, whatever, about Jonestown, and I actually got it was like an article or like written testimony from one of the people that were there, like one of the government officials or that was there, and I read a lot of their testimony in the episode. But before I did Jonestown, I talked about cults and manipulation and compliance. I kind of did this build up into it, so that way people would understand, like, the concepts of Jonestown. But that documentary, I cannot speak, is just, it's wild. It's crazy. It's all the stuff that the people there went through, and oh my gosh, the manipulation of Jim Jones and just his story. Like, he actually started out different, and in a sense, I kind of feel like a lot of leaders, sometimes they do, but I don't know if he started out different or if he was just putting on that face, so, but he started out very charismatic in a church, and then he started, like, his own, and the whole reason behind it was back in, I think, the 60s, where there was a segregation, and so he wanted a desegregated church where blacks and whites could mingle and get to know each other. It's like the
crazy
church
bastard,
world. Right? Which I commend him for that, but I don't know if that was.
That's
really
weird, is it?
Right, but I don't know if that was really his intention or if it was just the face of one to stir controversy, and
you gotta say something to bring people on board before you do the crazy shit.
Right, and a big part of manipulation is actually love bombing, which is like a technique where literally it's like, you're so great. Like, they make you feel like appreciated and loved and like all these wonderful things, and they get you pulled in, and you spend time with other people that are inside of the cult, and you're like, oh, okay, this is pretty cool. And then all of a sudden it's like, well, we're going to live in our nice utopia and go to Guyana, and we're going to have a lavish life and live greatly. And the biggest thing is they didn't want to be ruled by government and things like that. But what they didn't know is that Jim Jones was pretty much their leader. And once he got them isolated, which is also another manipulative tactic, that's when things start to shift. He also used like a we versus them mentality, which is pretty much like a lot of cults use, like especially religious cults use like end of the world, like we are the protected people and everyone else out there is going to like die or whatever, or they're gonna have diseases and we're gonna be just fine because we're in our own little circle. And so it's like we versus them, and so he used that a lot as well, like, and he rated contact of like the outside. He did a lot of these crazy things to slowly, step by step, manipulate these people. And then it got into more mind control of he would only play his messages on like a loudspeaker of like his sermons and his words. And it's just crazy, like all of these things that he did. And statistically, there's not really much of a difference between who is vulnerable to manipulation, which is crazy. Well, I guess you are can be more vulnerable if you are in a more vulnerable place, like I guess economically, or
Yeah,
you gotta
I
have a good
think I
relationship.
think everyone's susceptible to it. You just have to know the
Right,
angle to get it.
exactly. Exactly. You like you see a lot of women who get into domestic abuse. That's like a great example of manipulation because what do they do first? They love bomb their partner. They make them feel loved, appreciated, and then they start to kind of manipulate them and separate them from their family. And then they start to control them. Oh, I need to see your phone. Oh, I need to know where you are at all times. And then they use fear and abuse to keep them to stay. Well, then they hit them, and then they're like, oh, I only hit you once, it won't happen again, you know I love you. And they start to use this mind control and manipulative tactics to kind of get them to stay. And if you talk to domestic violence victims or survivors, they'll tell you like, I loved him and it was hard to get out, but I had to. And a lot of that is true because at first they think this is a genuine person and they develop these feelings. And a lot of times, like with domestic violence, it's not like a right away thing. Sometimes it can be, but usually what they do is they love bomb their partner first and make them feel safe, kind of like the way it should be, right? And then they turn that switch. So they make
It's
you
it's kind of
develop
it's kind of
feelings
scary.
for,
Like how many there's so many examples you can find where,
right.
for example, you maybe like a neighbor will hear some shit and the police will get called and they'll turn up and the woman is like bloody, like they've just beaten the shit out of this woman, and the woman's like
I
not
fell
pressing
down the stairs.
charges. Like what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like, that's just so like
And there's
crazy.
also
Like
women, they call that women battered syndrome. And the thing is, that you can physically see that they're beat up, but also on the inside. Because then they're like, well, if I tell the police, then they're going to kill me. Right? When they don't realize, well, if I tell the police, then I can get separated from him. But also, that's not always the case either, because it can be a he said, she said issue, and then there's evidence, and it can be a line. And then sometimes if there's like bond, then that person can be in jail, pay their bond, and then go out and kill whoever their partner was. So there's a lot of concern with that too. So it's crazy.
it's a whole mess of a situation.
So I think I talked about that a little bit too in my episode about domestic violence. I didn't go into too much, but it's like the manipulative tactics are all this, they're pretty much the same, and they don't always use every single one of them. It really depends on situation, but a lot of them you'll be like, "Oh, there's that." And "Oh, there's that." "Oh, there's that." So, yeah, even yeah, there's a lot of examples you could go into.
So I mean, we covered a couple of things about topics you've discussed on your episodes. And obviously, what I don't want to do is spoil everyone. I want to make sure that people, go check it out. So, for those that are interested in checking out What the Psychology podcast,
That's beautiful.
Where can they find you on social media and all that good stuff?
I am on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Those are like the 3 main platforms. Also on YouTube, but I just put my audio and sometimes pictures on there. Most of them you can find me
I'm slowly gonna get you to do video.
I know, slowly. You're like, I'm indoctrinating you.
Yeah.
I'm gonna manipulate. No. Mostly
the Jim Jones of video podcasts.
Don't be that bad. I'm not. Even though
Except for no one has to die. Just lots of video podcasts.
Even though Nebraska created Kool-Aid, I'm not drinking it. Like, it's not gonna happen.
Oh, I like that segue. That was good.
It's beautiful. See it. But yeah, mostly I'm under the name WT and then Psychology. So yeah, you can find me on any main platform for podcasts, on Anchor, Google Podcasts, Apple. Yeah, there's a lot I'm on. I don't even remember all of them because I put
Spotify.
Yeah, Good Pods, which is like a new platform too. So
you can see it there. Look. We'll be available. This will be available on Good Pods as well.
Yep, Good Pod. Give them a shout out because I like what they're doing.
Fun fact: I'm just going to look this up since we're live. We can get a live update. Ready? Let's see this. So Wafflebox. If you want to check this, make sure you go to enjoywafflebox.com. By the way, if you are watching this, we are Wafflebox currently number 26 in the top 100 indie improv podcasts.
I don't even know where because I haven't done. I was gonna do an episode this week, but I'm taking 6 classes, and yeah, I am.
If you're not committed, what's the point?
Right, and I'm very committed because I have a 3.9 GPA, and I'm trying to graduate with the highest.
I don't know
honors.
what that means. Is that good?
Yeah. So out of 4.
Oh, 3.9 out of 4. I can appreciate that.
Yeah.
That's good. So I'm English. We don't have GPAs in English. That means nothing to me.
It's like I'm trying to graduate with the top is honors, so I'm like very dedicated to my classwork. But I'm trying to think of what I'm gonna do for this next episode. I've kind of come up with some ideas like cognitive dissonance, because I hear a lot of people use that word, and so I'm like, do y'all know what that is? Or even like gaslighting. I'm like, I hear people say that all the time, but they don't actually know what gaslighting means. So yeah, I might dive into those concepts a little bit too, that people use a lot.
That'd be a good episode. So yeah, terms people use that they have no idea what they mean.
Right. Or I hear
like my favorite one is when if someone gets
same wavelength
suspended on Twitter and that's against my freedom of speech. That's not what freedom of speech means, you dick. Fuck's sake. It just annoys the fuck out of me.
Or I hear people all the time say narcissist, and I'm like, do you even know what that means? Because technically we all have narcissistic tendencies, although how minor they may be. But there's
doing your hair is narcissistic technically.
Right. But there's an actual personality disorder that's called narcissistic personality disorder. And usually when people say, oh, you're a narcissist, that's what they are implying. But I'm like, you don't even know what a narcissist is if you actually look up what the personality disorder is. Because usually that's what they mean when they say you're a narcissist. I'm like, I recently did an episode about that.
Idiots.
But I'm like,
So we don't want to keep the people waiting, the good people waiting. So we're just trying to give them. So how long have you got into your studies left? How long have you got?
I graduate May, and then I just applied a couple of days ago for my master's program, and if I get accepted, I'll start in the fall. So I'm taking the whole summer off from schoolwork, and so hopefully I'll have more time to dedicate. But Yeah.
So
A lot.
when is there like when do you think the next episode of What the Psychology will be out?
That's beautiful.
I'm trying to do it bigger
Sometime
and bigger
next
each
week.
time.
Sometime next week. I'm getting all my homework done like this weekend, and so I'm hoping on Monday I can record and then edit and get it out there. So, but I'm still trying to decide what I'm gonna do. So I have a few ideas floating around, but I think it's gonna be about gaslighting and cognitive dissonance. So
Love it.
yeah, that's I think what I'm gonna shoot for. But yeah,
Check that out. So check KWT Psychology on Twitter and make sure you subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Good Pods, and all that good stuff.
do it.
Just to give you a heads up, FYI. So this whole thing started originally because what we was gonna do originally, and then someone fucking
Oh gosh.
dropped the fucking ball.
We're gonna talk
We was
about
gonna
this right now.
we was gonna do a mock draft of chain restaurants. And then the person who was all like, "Yeah, I know, I'm really smart." So he's like, "I'm not available because I'm going away. I'm on a fucking cruise or some shit." Where was that what it was? Something like that.
Amanda.
Amanda, where she was basically bragging. I was like, "Oh, I'd love to be on the live stream, but I'll probably be doing things." I'm not going to go into that. But anyway, so so maybe. Hopefully, when she's stopped banging on a boat.
How dare you? How dare you, divulge in
Nah.
self-care and
I'm just
take
going to keep saying
vacation?
banging on a boat because of the alliteration. I love alliteration.
Oh, yeah, we did talk about that a little bit.
So, hey, Katie will be back soon, hopefully, when we come back to do that. Just to give you kind of spoilers of what's your favorite. So when I was thinking, because if it's gonna be three of us and we're gonna do a mock draft,
Right.
there's only so many. So I'm thinking we're gonna try to incorporate as well fast food chains as well into that kind of thing. Because otherwise, realistically, if we're doing 5 picks each, are there really 15 good corporate chain restaurants? I can't think of 15 personally. But anyway, what would be what's your
out of whatever we're gonna say? I can make so many jokes.
Go for it.
If someone says Chick-fil-A, be like, yeah, because you're real quick. You have a lot of come in, a lot of go out.
Ooh,
They're really fast with your service. The irony is that's a religious establishment. They got the holy chicken.
so bizarre that whole
I love Chick-fil-A.
I love Chick-fil-A too, but the guy. I mean, I'm not going to judge anyone who works at Chick-fil-A. But the owner of Chick-fil-A is very bizarre. Like, it does sometimes make me like awkward. Like, I want to go to Chick-fil-A.
Man, I've seen, like, when WAP came out with Cardi B, I've seen like a couple people make versions with like Chick-fil-A, like like one of them was it's our pleasure, because they always say, like, they'll never say you're welcome. It's if you say thank you, they'll always say it's my pleasure, and they are trying to say that, which is funny. So there's like one song where it's like it's my pleasure, and then like there's another where it's just like a rap about fast service, and it's just hilarious. I go down the rabbit hole of YouTube sometimes, but I'm like, how can you turn that song? It's just ironic, but anyway. Awkward segue.
So there you go. Who the fuck? See, this is why you come to this podcast, Wafflebox. You get sudden connections between Chick-fil-A and wet ass pussies. There you go.
Except we don't really go into that. in my podcast, but
When I think of that spicy chicken sandwich,
now you know what you're gonna think of.
I get a little whap.
Oh man.
I mean, it is a pretty good spicy chicken sandwich. I'll give them that credit. So Chick-fil-A, sorry, was that getting your pick? Feeling?
Oh no, that was just a joke because
Oh.
I mean, I love Chick-fil-A, but I was just thinking more inappropriately of they have so many customers and they're quick with their service and they're in and out, like pretty much. That was just like there's so many jokes I can make. Like even
Do
some
it,
we were
because,
talking about.
hey, if you can't be on a late night show and talk about
Right.
jizz jokes, I guess.
Right. In my podcast, I feel like I'm way more serious. Like I'm kind of funny, but I'm like I don't really get too let loose. So
It's Friday night. It's nearly 11 o'clock Eastern.
right, it's almost 10 here. So hey, I think we kind of made this joke with one of the others, but like McDonald's would be the one that's just like never clean, and then that's where you go in the bathroom and you do coke. Like
Funny story. All right.
That was what
that reminds me.
Y'all said mine or whatever. I said Applebee's or something.
So here's, I'll tell this story to end my show. So, what this is going back I'm the captain now.
I'm taking over.
So one time, I was visiting friends up North England, and as you do, it's like 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning. You're hungry. You're a little bit inebriated, shall we say? McDonald's, yay! And I went there, and my friend was like, "Oh, I need to go to the toilet," and the toilets were closed. They closed the toilets, right? That's the base of that story, right? Anyway, a week later, I wake up and I have an email from the United Nations. Yes, that United Nations.
Okay, what'd you do?
Basically, the United Nations were telling me, hey, thank you for your feedback. However, the fact that the toilets weren't available in this McDonald's is not under our jurisdiction. Thank you for... So I was so... Apparently, in my drunken stupor, I was so angry that the toilets were not available, I contacted the United Nations.
Oh my gosh. That's pretty funny.
I was like, oh, fucking hell, drunk me is pretty weird.
That's pretty funny. I thought you were gonna say like there was like a murder at McDonald's or something. Like immediately my mind went like, where is this going? Murder in McDonald's.
Just a very weird...
Murder on aisle 5. That's where all the cleaning supplies.
What's up with my mustache?
Mine too.
I got like a weird... Yeah, anyway, I'll sort it out. I thought I'd like drawn on myself or something. Anyway. Yes! So make sure... Thank you very much for joining us for this evening's Waffle Box Late Night Syrup. Make sure if you are watching the on-demand, you're on Twitter and Twitch... hit the follow button. Every platform has a different word for it. It's very hard to keep up with. So if you're on Twitch, hit the follow button, I think. If you're on YouTube, hit the subscribe button. On YouTube, it's free to subscribe, but only certain Twitch channels are able to subscribe, and that costs you money. It's very confusing, but it doesn't cost you any money to follow this. Follow that. Make sure if you are joining us for the first time or listening to this for the first time, this is Waffle Box. Make sure you listen to us each and every Wednesday. Waffle Box, myself and Kush Hayes, available on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Audible, Good Pods, all that good shit.
It's everywhere.
Everywhere. God damn it. And then coming up next weekend. If you are a fan of the Adam Sandler movie, The Longest Yard. Wait, what? What was that reaction?
It just made me think of something that I thought about doing or thought about talking about, and it's the movie Waterboy.
Yes.
And how how the scene where he's in college and the professors talks about why alligators are mean, and he's like, oh, mama said it's because they have no toothbrush, and he's like, the amygdala ogdala or whatever, and it's actually incorrect. It's actually the amygdala. That's the region of the brain, but it's just funny because it's incorrect, and that scene is just hilarious because then he tackles the professor. So biologically, he's incorrect, but it's just funny. So they're both wrong. So really, what Mama said is probably more accurate.
Fucking hilarious. I'm gonna.
Sorry. Anyway, Longest Yard. I had to throw that in there because you said Adam Sandler. I'm like, oh, Adam Sandler.
Anyway.
Anyways, Longest Yard.
Longest Yard, which is another. You could tie that back to another penis joke, I guess. The Longest Yard.
That's true. Every mile.
Featuring Adam Sandler. Yeah, so myself and Kush Hayes will be releasing a watch-along. So if you want to check that out on Netflix from next Saturday, you can watch it and then pop an earbud in or something and listen to me and Kush talk you through the movie.
That's a great movie.
It's a great movie. It's probably going to be a horrific watch along because it's the first time we ever did it, so strap yourselves in for a very mediocre ride, but fuck it, check it out, it'll be fun. And then the week after that, more stuff. Anyway, I'm not going to get into it because you don't remember, but yes, enjoy wafflebox.com for all the good stuff. Make sure you goddamn follow my girl Katy here at WT Psychology. Check out Stalk her. She loves it.
Not literally.
No. But, and if you are in the Omaha, Nebraska area and you're starving for stand-up comedy, maybe she'll be coming to a town near you.
Yeah. I'll be in Omaha.
Right, before we jump off this, what's your stand-up? How would you describe your stand-up style?
So I have only done one show. Like, it was like my amateur night, and it was my friend where he's part of ministry, and so it was like a clean show, which I'm completely fine with, but it was my first time doing stand-up, and I think I did great. I got a lot of really good feedback. One person even said, was this really like her first time ever doing stand-up? Because it seems like she's been doing it for years. But it was around Christmas, so I did a lot of Christmas jokes, and the funny and worst part about it is that they're all true, and they're about my family. So, yeah, I did post a video about of my stand-up. It's on YouTube. It's on Facebook. It's on Twitter. So, I don't know if
I watched it. I think I watched it on Twitter.
Yeah, so that was my first ever. Me and my friend were trying to plan another show. I don't know when. He's always busy, so we'll see. But I do plan on doing more stand-up in the future. So
was that on your Twitter, right? The Katy, your personal
I think so.
Twitter, right?
I can share on the WT Psychology page too. So
yeah. So if you want to watch Katy lose her comedy virginity live on the internet,
I didn't do too bad. I got a lot of good feedback.
Comedy at a church or whatever it was.
It was a coffee shop.
Coffee shop.
Hey, the best part about performing in front of a church is a forgiving audience. Boom,
boom, boom. But you know what? I think if Jesus is looking down, I reckon he appreciates a bit of blue. I reckon he likes a dirty joke every now and again. He seems like a nice guy.
Hey, he hung out with like what people would consider the worst. So
lepers, prostitutes, he loved them all. He didn't give a shit.
Exactly. So
and you're telling me if you say like a curse word, he's gonna be upset? No. JC. JC's down with the good jokes.
JC. Oh my gosh. That brings me back to what we were talking about before the show. JC Holy Ghost. When we're talking about Eddie
Cheers.
Izzard. Anyway, cheers.
Jeezy Creasy. That's my.
Jeezy Creasy. So
Cheers.
the Mormons all from Mars, Dad. We've checked. I didn't say it. That's Eddie Izzard. Don't.
Although my favorite JC reference in comedy comes from Bill Hicks. You familiar with Bill Hicks?
I think I've heard the name.
Where he's like, he had a theory. I mean, he's dead now, bless him, Bill Hicks. But he had a theory about why Jesus wasn't coming back for a second. His second coming wasn't coming back. He was like, because it's like all these people wearing fucking cross necklaces. It's like he's probably sitting there going, "Dad, they're still wearing those fucking crosses. Like I died on a cross. What the fuck? That's bullshit." It's like that'd be like going up to like JFK's wife or something with a rifle pendant.
Oh my gosh.
It's like why would you do that?
That's so funny. That's pretty funny. I'm a Christian, so I laugh all the time. I make jokes all the time. Like it's you gotta be lighthearted and have fun. Like, come on.
Apparently, I mean, I don't follow it anymore. I'm out of it, but apparently I was raised Roman Catholic, so that's a laugh, I guess.
So, my
I know what that
step grandmother is a Catholic, and part of you probably remember this, part of their service, they'll turn around, shake each other's hands, and say, "Peace be with you."
Yeah!
Right? So, anytime
I fucking hate that. It's so awkward.
I have a solution.
I don't even know this person. Why do I want peace for them? They could be a scumbag.
I have a solution. I would always
Piss on you.
No, I would always
okay.
turn to my grandma and be like, "May the force be with you," and she's just like, "Hey, it fixes
Or
it."
just do some Spock shit. Yeah.
I can't do that. I have to tape. I don't have Spock hands.
It's my only. Yeah, that's my thing.
That would suck trying to be an extra in that, and you can't do that. Like, "Oh, I'm sorry if I can't have you on the
It's
show."
right. Cut. 1 second. Let me just.
Let me tape this
Action.
together. Tape it together. Live long and prosper.
Where there's a will, there's a way. All right. Let's wrap this shit up. Thanks, Katie, for joining me. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah.
That's what you say. It's been a pleasure to speak to me as well. Jesus Christ.
It hasn't been. No.
No, it hasn't been a pleasure. It's been an honor.
It has been. It's a very honor. It's like, it's better than my commendation medal. It's such an honor.
This is what I'm not shocked because I was expecting that.
You're like, I was expecting I was expecting compliments.
That's what I do.
Right. I had an awesome time. We have to do this again. I love this. It was fun.
Maybe next time we'll plan something.
Right. Yeah.
Rather than we winged it and we won. That's what I say.
Right.
So make sure before we end this, keep dragging this shit out, but make sure you go to your podcast platform and search for What the Psychology.
Do it.
And listen to my girl Katie here. All right, thanks for joining me at WT for Psychology. I'm at Mr. Mike Fish. Enjoy wafflebox.com. Peace out.
And may the force be with you.
That's it.